is Eric Muriuki Njagi. I'm a general manager at the Commercial Bank of Africa, CBA. I head a unit, business division called New Business Ventures, and at NBV we've been mandated to just diversify CBA's target markets. So for the first time about 2 years ago, CBA specifically targeted the mass market and with a business model that is focused purely on technology. Digital finance is attractive to CBA for one primary reason. One, you need to understand the kind of bank that we are. We see ourselves very much as a data-driven business. And as such, we've built a business model around how to use the data that customers generate to provide them solutions to real problems that they have. So if you look at our value proposition, we do not have products. What we have is solutions. And these solutions are crafted from what we are seeing in the customer's data profiles. So in that sense, digital finance then means that we have access to lots of data that is being created as customers interact with their everyday life. I always like to say life is a series of transactions, and each of these transactions leaves behind a data footprint. Now we've built a business model that is able to harvest this data and transform or create solutions to fix customer problems. Digital cash payments, or what a lot of people call mobile money, presents significant opportunities for Africa. First, let's put this in context. Africa starts with two things which in my view are critical success factors to innovation. One, we have no legacy. We didn't start with fixed wire phones. We did not start with very widely issued cards. Secondly, Africa is full of problems or inefficiencies. And in my view, that's an innovator's dream, to find an environment where there's no legacy and there's many problems to be solved. So with digital finance, as I'd said earlier, what it presents is that one, you have a ready market. 70% of Kenyans, and I believe that statistic is relevant to Africa, already have a mobile phone. The fact that there's no legacy with respect to payment channels, payment networks, it then means that people who are already doing transactions of one form or the other then have a channel that is cheaper, more efficient, far more secure to transact against. And when you combine those factors together and put it in the context of trying to solve real problems, then you have all the ingredients for success in Africa. Key scientific problem. I think when we come at it from a business perspective, we are always looking at problems that we can solve and solve in ways that are unique, hence giving us some competitive advantage. And the way I would like to frame this is with respect to digital finance. Digital finance actually comes in to facilitate other existing types of businesses, either by facilitating payments. And the thing about payments tell me who you interact with, how you interact with them, when you interact with them, and for what. And that's a unique aspect about payments. It really helps profile a target market. And the problem we then find ourselves faced in is being a data-driven business, we have data that is generated from different types of systems or services. So it could be a utility company that is providing you with electricity, another company providing you with your phone, another could be a health service provider. And all of these provisioning platforms are designed to only do that, provision a service. But with digital finance, particularly in the context of mobile, we're then talking about technologies that are designed to interact with the consumer. And the key problem we find ourselves is finding this go-between or intermediary that then allows the customer to, as he's performing whatever transactions he's doing, to then interact with all these data exhausts that is being generated from all the different provisioning platforms. Now, one key challenge we're trying to solve is to build a user interface that interactively, to overuse the word, interacts allows the customer to interact with the data and whatever service is trying to execute on that user interface. So we do not want to just have solutions that push propositions to the customer. We're trying to define solutions where as the customer is interacting with his mobile phone, he is actively interacting with data and defining propositions for himself or herself and making the purchase decisions that he came into the channel to conduct, but also other propositions that have been presented to him based on how the data has been processed. So to try and narrow down into a simple statement, I think our biggest challenge is to be able to get data from different sources in real time and contextually present and make propositions to the customers interacting with their mobile channel. One thing we greatly appreciate is not necessarily with technology, but more of advisory and pooling of thoughts, insights together. Because as I'd said earlier, in our part of the world, problems, i.e. opportunities, present themselves every day. But how to go about them, how to use technology or to deploy technology to address those problems, particularly taking into account the fact that technology is always changing. So that if IBM could work with businesses to play that advisory role to help businesses understand what is the information that is out there, what are the different tools, techniques that are available, so that without prescribing solutions, you're actually helping and co-innovating with suppliers like CBA to fix problems that are in each respective market. So I would say the greatest input really will be one of an advisory role. It's very clear from where we sit that the future is digital. And I go back to payments. If you look at the cost of doing a transaction by cash today, we've estimated that to be at about 7%. The second alternative is card, when the cost is roughly about 2% to 3%, depending on which payment network you're in. Mobile payments in Kenya have been introduced at a cost of about 1%. So the one thing that you can see is happening is as you move to more efficient technologies, the cost is dropping. And I think the future, the cost will move from 1% to 0. So the key thing really is for businesses to reconfigure their business models. Payments will always need to happen. So how will payments be performed at no cost and still allow businesses to make money? And I think the solution to that will come with more value-added services being built on top of payments, which is pretty much what we've tried to do with M-Shwari.